Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network, coming to you from the Grand Hotel. And we're up here for the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce's annual policy conference. And speaking of policy and behind the scenes and what makes things run well, we have Chris Rizik with us right now from Renaissance Venture Capital. And Chris, it's always good to see you. You know, when I see you, I always think of the phrase, show me the money. You guys have done incredibly well.
Oh, thanks, Chris. It's great to be here. Now, it's always great talking to you up here. You're the master here on the porch.
Well, they want me out on the porch, that's for sure. So just give everybody a quick refresher, because you're not the typical venture capital fund.
No, we actually created a new type of fund almost 15 years ago now. So the idea behind Renaissance is we're a fund of funds. So we raise money and then we invest it in venture capital funds around the country, some of the best funds, under the condition that they engage here in Michigan, look at Michigan startup companies, look to invest here, and then we help them to find some of the great startups.
Yeah. Well, and you hit a home run here recently. You know, I've told people as an owner of a golf course that COVID-19 was surgically tough on some people and beneficial to others. And you guys fell into that category.
Yeah, we were fortunate. One of the funds we invested in is a group called Flagship Ventures, and they started Moderna in their offices. And so it was great. During the whole process of the creation of the vaccines, we were able to track it. I actually volunteered. I was in the clinical trials myself.
Oh, wow.
So I was a bit of a guinea pig there. But, you know, just sort of seeing the progress and how that helped humanity was really, that's one of the great things about venture capital. One of the other things, and this is something we've really been focusing on, something we call Undemo Day, and we do it once in the spring and once in the fall. We gather up the best startup companies in the state, and we'll bring in 200 to 300 venture capitalists from around the country and just bring them together and say, hey, venture capitalists who invest in cybersecurity, here's a cybersecurity startup, go spend 15 minutes together. That has helped to create a situation where we've attracted a little over $2.5 billion into the state, into startups.
You know, we covered those for a while, and they're kind of a speed dating thing.
It's exactly right.
Yeah, and it's really been effective.
And one of the great things is that before they even meet, both sides have said, I want to meet this other person. So it's really curated.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so you're like a marriage broker, really.
Sort of like that,
yeah,
right.
Okay, so where do you go from here? Do you just keep growing your fund and looking for better funds to put into?
Right, we've continued to grow over the 15 years. We're planning to continue to do that. The model that we created here in Michigan, we've probably been approached by half of the other states. And so we've helped groups to form replica funds in Ohio, in Texas, and in Wisconsin, with the idea of creating sort of a national network of funds in underserved areas like Michigan, where the thought is you can really make good money doing this, you can really help your region, and then you can help connect startup companies with major companies who can become important customers. Those are the three pillars that we created and that these other funds have done also.
Well, and there's that, we did socially good, which is intrinsically really a good feeling about things. So is all your money come from private sector?
Most of it. So we teamed with Business Leaders for Michigan, a great organization when we first started. Our first fund was all Business Leaders for Michigan members. Over time, our returns have been strong enough that we now have institutional investors who believe in our mission coming in. So we're about half corporate and half either pension funds or foundations, etc.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so the foundation community has found us, and so has even the state pension fund is an investor now.
So people used to say about venture capital funds, okay, so they invest in 10, hoping one hits and finances the 9 losses. That percentage has to be higher now.
It has to be higher, and in our case, because we're a fund of funds, we invest in 20 funds. Those funds invest in 20 companies, so every one of our funds might have stakes in 400 companies, so much lower risk profile. No one company is going to make it, and no one company is going to break it. The idea is almost like a mutual fund of venture capital.
Gotcha. And do you hear from everyone, or do you stay in the tech area? Do you stay in the pharmaceuticals?
We're creating a broad portfolio, so we touch just about anything that is high growth.
High growth's good.
High growth is good.
That's an important thing.
Right.
All right, where do you go from here?
just continue to do what we do and continue to grow. Continue to help other parts of the country to do it. The most recent addition is, we talked about Undemo Days. We now have a special Undemo Day that we do for women and Black and Latino and veteran founders who usually can't get in front of venture capital funds. So our idea is to sort of wrap them into this in a special way. And the response we've gotten from the venture community has been tremendous, because they understand that those groups I mentioned get less than 5% of venture capital. And they understand that issue. And again, even from their selfish standpoint, they're missing out on a lot of really good deals that could happen in Michigan. So we're just trying to help make those connections.
And good companies that are going to employ people, and like
Absolutely.
you say, I love the fact that you guys, as part of your criteria, they have to make an imprint here in Michigan.
Yes.
So that is really important, really helps the state.
Right.
Chris, it is always good to see you. It actually is. Chris Rizik, Renaissance Venture Capital, and my friend, keep spreading your money around, because you're doing a lot of good for a lot of people.
Thanks so much, Chris.
All
Great
right.
seeing you as always.
Always good to see you.
All right.
We're at the Grand Hotel here for the annual policy conference put on by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman.